hello, and welcome back to the Pulse with Willie and Al. How you doing today, bud?
Willie, doing all right. How are you, man?
I am good, bro. I am good. It's kind of crazy. We are back for our 28th episode. This is episode 28. How much longer are we gonna wait for Brandon Staley to get his papers?
For our
So,
lives to be
yeah,
over.
that's a ballad, man. That's a ballad. Don't
Yeah.
even get me that pumped
Shout
up
out,
to start.
shout out Paula Cole and shout out Dawson's Creek.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
It's bringing us back. So it's going to be exciting to jump into this episode. I'm real pumped. A lot of interesting stuff happened in the NFL this week, but before we jump into those week 13 NFL stories, I just want to remind you guys, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Go ahead and like the video, drop us a comment, let us know what you think. Let us know if you think we're beautiful, if our voices are very good, or if you think we should never sing again. Make sure you let us
yeah.
know.
Or if, or if we're just a bunch of uggos, that's
Yeah,
okay too.
yeah, that could be all right.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
yeah,
I don't need it.
yeah.
Listen, I just got to first start by asking what actually happened this week. Because there were upsets,
Fucking
there were
bananas.
injuries, some crazy performances. It was nuts. It was
Yeah.
absolutely unbelievable. All of the stuff that ended up going down. Even last
Well,
night.
also your Colts too in a fucking wild game
Yeah. Yep.
that at one point had Nick Folk punting because
Yeah.
they just banana stuff happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they ended up winning, and now it looks, depending on our first topic here, depending on how that works out, the Colts could be a possible division winner by the end of this season. So, which is incredible to think about
Bananas.
without AR there. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, without further ado, let's jump right in. First news and kind of somber news is the Trevor Lawrence injury. Now, it was really
Yeah.
rough to see on television. I just have a hard time imagining this team being competitive without him. But what I have heard is some surprisingly good news about it, that it's just a sprain. I'm still giving it a few days now. I know that was last night for you. That was this morning for me.
Yeah.
So I've let that news marinate kind of all day, and I want to wait a few days to see exactly what the prognosis on this is, and I want to wait to see how he actually looks in a game before I'm like, yeah, okay, he's all right, he's
Yeah.
fine. What were
Well,
your thoughts
NFL,
on it?
it does look like NFL Network reported about an hour ago that the Jaguars seem to be pretty optimistic that it's not a serious injury.
Hmm.
So, which is good, but that injury didn't look great in the moment. So, who am I to say?
Not with
But
him pounding the field and stuff, but who knows? It could be a surgery makes things faster. Mike Tomlin type of
yeah,
prediction, right?
fucking bananas as well. We'll talk about that too. But Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little worrisome for Jacksonville because their next two games are tough games. They have Cleveland and Baltimore next up,
Yeah.
and those are two really good defenses. And if you're not getting 100% Trevor Lawrence, I don't know how that looks. And with Houston and Indianapolis a game back in that division, like that's if they're not careful and if things kind of don't if they get some unlucky bounces, like they could straight up just miss the playoffs altogether.
Well, not only that, man, but Etienne is banged up too with the ribs, right? Like he
Yeah.
looked all right, but I don't know. The fact that they lost that game last night just does not feel good at all. It's
Respectfully, they should have beaten Cincinnati handily. No offense to Jake Browning, who had the game of his life last night.
mhm.
They should have won this game going away. And it goes back to with Jacksonville for me that they're a team that I can't trust to win big games.
Yeah.
I can't. Like,
Put him up there with Miami and those teams, right?
yeah,
It's yeah.
yeah. Miami, Detroit, yeah, you name it.
Which is weird. Buffalo's had a up and down roller coaster of a season, but we trust them more than Miami. It's just I don't know. It's kind of
Yeah,
crazy. But speaking of a team that can win big games and has been doing it, Houston beating Denver. That was really big for me, man. Like Denver, they've been on a kill streak lately. Just murderers row. You look at the last month. I challenge you to find a team that's played better the last month than they have. I mean, the teams that
yeah,
they've beaten are very good teams. I mean, and I just look at this for Houston to win the game at the end with the interception. It was just it was really big for me, at least, in what it says about this team. What did were you able to watch that? And
Yeah, so they were playing a lot of that. That fourth quarter was pretty much primarily always on one of the boxes on red zone,
Mhm.
and yeah, they Houston really that was a statement game for them for their defense.
Yeah,
Like, cause they lose Tank Dell, who was their best receiver, and they could have just kind of folded, and they showed some real grit and heart that I really liked. I don't know, like losing Tank Dell going forward, I think it's going to be really tough for Houston.
yeah.
But like their defense, like Stingley made this interception that I'm still not sure how he caught that. Like he he jumped this route that like was a good throw. Like Wilson had a good throw. Stingley Jr. just made even a better play on the ball. That's all there is to it. And and then for Denver to get all the way to the red zone and like you thought for a moment they were going to drive down and win the game. And that Houston defense stood tough and got an end zone pick to end the game. And yeah, it was really good to see.
Yeah,
And Houston with a real shot to win the division.
yeah. I just wanted to mention about Stingley because like a lot of people know about Sauce Gardner, Patrick Surtain, and they know them as like premier corners in the league. He came out of that draft class too, and that
Got taken before Sauce.
yeah, and I don't know. He's a very very talented player. I believe he played at LSU, and
He
just a
did. Yeah.
yeah, he's an absolute stud, man. So very happy to see him coming into his own and really making a splash in the league. The Tank Dell loss, man, that's just really tough because this was a guy that C.J. Stroud said, "Go out and get this guy for me."
Yeah.
I know he's going to be good. Go and get him. And so, really, really tough to see him go down. I hope they're able to rebound from there. And it seems like, at least the way Stroud plays, is it doesn't matter who lines up. He's going to make playmakers out of the next guy out in there. So it just, I'm hoping they can
Yeah.
continue doing that. But what you had mentioned about them potentially getting a home game, that could you imagine? I just want to envision
A
this for
year
a
ago.
second.
Yeah.
A
I would
year
have never
ago,
imagined that.
yeah, three
Yep.
games they won last year. Three. And I mean,
Yeah.
they could have. They maybe they could. You could have argued they could have won four. They tied one game as well. But to go from that to hosting a home playoff game, it's crazy, man. Like,
Well, even if you go back to the draft, I remember because they had the number 2 pick,
mhm,
but then they traded up for number 3 with Arizona and they took Will Anderson. And I remember thinking at the time, like, boy, like Will Anderson he was a monster in college, but
yeah,
like they still need so much more help. Like that, them trading away a first round pick to get him, I was like, that's going to come back and haunt them. And then again, this is why I don't work for an NFL franchise. I know nothing because I thought, oh, CJ Stroud's going to suck because he's from Ohio State, and Ohio State hasn't produced a good quarterback since I don't know,
Joe
fucking
Burrow.
Jesus.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, they even though they're trying to still claim Burrow, but yeah, he rode the bench there.
no,
Really didn't do much.
yeah, but yeah, no, this team, D'Amico Ryans has this team playing in a way that like they're a good team. They're a legitimate team that I take seriously.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I also too, I like to play a little game sometimes where I look at head coaches and I'm like, which one would win in a fight? And D'Amico Ryans would smash every coach in the league, and it's not even close.
Yeah,
That dude's yoked.
yeah, not only is he yoked, man, I remember him playing for Houston as a linebacker and
Yeah.
terrorizing the Colts for years, man.
He he was the kind of guy that would hit people, and you were like, oh, that guy's soul just left his body.
Yeah.
Like,
He was
yeah,
when I think of D'Amico Ryans, and not a lot of people think of him in this aspect, but I think of him as a Brian Urlacher player, like that type of guy
yeah,
that okay, he played for a bad team, but he was really, really good. So it
right.
just I don't know. I've got a lot of respect for him, the way he coaches, the way he came into the building, the CJ Stroud too. This team is very, very likable. And that's
Turned the culture around, which is I think a
yeah,
big thing with this team because that culture was bad for a long time.
it really is.
Like that, the Bill O'Brien years were not good.
No.
So,
And now you're experiencing that, so so
God, man,
oh
yeah,
man. Well, let's talk about a
I
team that
almost
yeah,
I almost miss Matt Patricia. I almost miss him. That's where I'm at.
Man, that's a tough feeling to have. Well, just look forward to it. You'll have Josh McDaniels back next year. So, um,
Kill me already. Kill me already.
so let's talk about a team that really seems like they're losing their grip, and that's Kansas City. They lost to Green Bay. Again, I know we had chit chatted about this before. I want to say that I'm shocked, but I'm really not. I knew. Am I disappointed? Absolutely. But this was a long time coming for Kansas City. I'm not going to say against this team in Green Bay, even though they are playing better with Jordan Love. He's starting to get his grip on the offense and the way that team plays. They're going to be good for years to come there. Like they just
Yeah.
need to give him a chance. And yeah, he's going to have some games where he looks worse too. But talk about Kansas City. There's only so much that Mahomes and Kelsey can do, right? In the
Yep.
defense as well. They need a big bodied receiver. I really hope they take time in the offseason to go and get a true number one. Because even if they throw money at T. Higgins and they bring him in, he would be a massive upgrade over what they have now. Massive
Oh
upgrade.
yeah, for
I think
sure.
honestly they should cut all the receivers they have besides Rasheed Rice. Everyone else, cut them and then
Yeah.
rebuild. I'd rather than bring in rookies. Mahomes is young enough. Dude, those rookies, if they, 2, 3 years in the system with Mahomes, they could be great. Because really, it felt like this was a lost year for them. It really does. Like,
Yeah.
I can't, I do not think they have enough to be able to go through the playoffs. And I hate to doubt this team because they're still the Super Bowl champs. I get that piece. But it just, the weaknesses are glaring on this team.
Yeah. It's you're right. This was a. I'm sorry. I want to collect my thoughts for a second because like that game was weird to watch. Like
Yeah.
first of all, Green Bay just jumped out to an early lead, and I'm glad that this was a national game because I know a lot of us have talked about how Kansas City's receivers are so bad, but like Jesus, they're bad. They're bad on a level that like I know I've talked about this before. They're like '06 Patriots bad, where like you have this Hall of Fame quarterback who's thrown to a bunch of dudes that like can't catch, and like
Yeah.
that can take you. And, and because it's Patrick Mahomes, he's going to get him into the playoffs.
Yep.
They also play in the shitty AFC West, so there's that. Uh, and like he's going to get him to the playoffs, and like he'll get you pretty far. But like if Kelsey's double covered every play, like you've got to be able to rely on somebody else, and they just can't.
Yeah. And teams are,
Yeah, like
are, are
Rasheed
cluing
Rice,
into that now.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah, and like Rasheed Rice, you can to a certain degree, but
But
like
he's
he's
a
not
number two
consistent.
or a slot
Yeah,
receiver, man. Like it just I don't know. Like Green Bay, the way they jumped out to that lead, it reminded me of their game against who was it? Detroit? When they went up big on
yeah,
Detroit. Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. Was like, okay, Green Bay's figured out like, we know how to do this. We know how to do this now. We can put points
yeah.
up on the board in dozens. It just I look at that and I don't know. I don't know where. I know Andy Reid will figure it out. I just don't know how. Like this team is just not built to come back from big leads, right?
Well, also too, they're making dumb mistakes right now. Like Pacheco getting thrown out late in that game. Like, there's no need for that.
Yeah,
There was no need for you to punch a guy in the face.
yeah,
Like, you're going to get thrown out every time for that. And you could see it. Andy Reid on the sideline, they cut to him, and he's like, "Hey man, like you have to stay composed. Like
yeah.
you can't be doing like you're one of our better players. Like you can't be doing that.
Al,
Like,
this is. Remember we talked about this at the beginning of the year when they were at the White House and they were acting. I thought, at least I perceived it, they were acting like idiots there. And I
I
thought then
remember yeah,
I thought
no,
about that. Sky Moore, Isaiah Pacheco, I remember them dancing in the White House, what I deemed as acting kind of foolish. And like, guys, I don't know, just the way my dad kind of brought me up, act like you've been there before. It's
yeah,
no problem being excited, but don't act like a fool. And now, how dumb do they look when you have receivers that can't catch balls? Sky Moore, it was his. Say what you want, he's not a good receiver, man. That
no,
shouldn't have been a pick. He needs to go up and get that ball. I don't know.
Yeah. He stopped running on the route.
Yeah,
Like, you can't do that.
you're not helping your quarterback. Like those guys, and forgive me for saying this, they would have never cut it in years past in Kansas City. Never.
No,
Imagine if
no.
DeAndre Hopkins, they actually went out and got him, and he would have been on a playoff team. This team would have been very different, man. And
Oh,
no,
yeah.
no lie, Hopkins would have 15 catches a game. They'd be setting NFL records there if they had gone out and got him. I guarantee it, man. Him and Mahomes would have been ridiculous. We would have been saying there's no team that's going to beat this team. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I
It,
really hope they throw
it,
their hat in the ring for the Devonte Adams, bid, because that could be Devontae's still a lot younger than Aaron Rodgers. He's still got a good 3-4 years left that he could play with Mahomes, and they could really do some damage in the AFC.
well, the problem with the Chiefs is, like, respectfully, you've paid Mahomes,
Hmm.
you've paid Kelsey, you've paid Chris Jones, and in the NFL, unfortunately, there is a salary cap. And,
Yeah,
like, at some point, you kind of have to skimp somewhere, and they're skimping on receivers, and, like, that's great, but, like, the Bills come and due on that, and there's going to be a playoff game this year where that's going to come back and haunt them.
yeah. They really
So
need it. I hope they address it in the off season and stuff. Well, now
me
that we're
too.
all fired up about this, right? So
Yeah.
let's get to kind of the biggest news of the weekend was Philly just getting manhandled by San
Woo!
Francisco. Yeah, this was one
Woo!
that I didn't see coming. I know you had San Francisco winning the game, right?
Yeah.
But it seemed
I
like
had
you
to
thought it'd be close, right?
I thought there was going to be a little bit of a route, but not at this level.
Hmm.
I'm going to be honest with you. I remember we talked about too being like, hey, there's a world where San Francisco just jumps out to a big lead early, and then they just keep sticking it to them. And we were right. Like, this was a game that they had circled on their calendar
Hmm.
since last season, and boy, San Francisco punched them in the mouth repeatedly.
Yeah.
Like, they would what they did was they would punch them, they would knock them down, they would pick them back up, punch them again, and just rinse and repeat that whole game. Like,
Yep.
it just was insane.
Well,
Like,
now we're looking at it. I mean, Purdy is the front runner for the MVP right now, which I think is kind of wild. But could
that's
you
bullshit,
imagine
by the
Mr.
way.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, man. Like, and this is America wants to dislike Dak. They want to. I really hope, and we're going to get into the game here in a second when we talk about Philly and Dallas. I really hope Dallas wins that game, and I hope Dak wins an MVP because he deserves it this year,
Oh,
man. And I know people are frustrated about that, but
no.
ah, we'll get into it and stuff. But let's finish off
Oh,
this
okay.
first because I want to make sure we don't jump off on that. There's some really good stuff that we got to mention here. Again, I don't agree with the Purdy being MVP. I don't agree with any of that. But what did San Francisco do right in your eyes in this game? Like, I know we're saying they punched him in the mouth, but what did you see from them that said you're not going to beat us next time either?
Uh, they made they made Jalen Hurts' life miserable all day. Like, if you look at the stats, you're like, okay, he threw for almost 300 yards, but he was 26 of 45, and they got him three times. Like
Yeah.
that, they just made him uncomfortable all day. And like what they would do is too, they like first of all, Philly couldn't run the ball to save their lives.
Yeah.
Like, San Francisco made that decision. They're like, hey, you know what? If you want to beat us with your arm, great. We'll live with that. But I mean, look at it. They only had 46 yards rushing.
Yeah, not good for a team
Philly
that
did,
is
and like,
that runs the ball fairly well. That's not good for
yeah,
them.
they were averaging 2.6 yards a carry. Like, that's it against a 49ers team. Like, if the 49ers already know that you're just going to throw every down, like that's a recipe for disaster, friend.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that
Chase Young, Nick Bosa just running.
Warner and Chase Young get to just do what they do best,
Well,
and that's what they did.
you know what's kind of interesting too, and the reason we mention about Philly being able to run the ball is it sets up their entire offense. It's when you
Yeah,
don't know what's coming, but if you know that they're just going to throw every down, it's a lot easier to defend, and it kind of neutralizes Jalen Hurts at that point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just it seemed like San Francisco just won at every level, and when you do that, you're gonna have a really tough time beating that team. Maybe this is San Francisco's year. And I mean, you had mentioned that earlier. I want to say 8 weeks ago. Like,
Yeah.
hey, maybe it's their year, and they went on that 3 game skid. We kind of tempered expectations, but then all of a sudden they come back, and it's like, oh crap. Um, yeah, they're mad now. So,
It's weird too, like, because if you look at the team stats, like Philadelphia actually had the edge in possession,
hmm
but it didn't really matter. Like San
yeah,
Francisco on third down, 8 of 11.
yeah, that's
Like if that means you're just extending drives time after time after time.
yeah,
Like, and it showed in the second half too. Like they just wore Philly down.
yeah.
Like that game at half is 14-6. By the end of the third quarter, it's 28-13. And it just the route is on after that.
It
Like,
really was. Like,
yeah.
I wanted to ask you, like, how does this, for you, in your mind, shape the landscape for the NFC playoffs? Because, I mean, we're going to talk about Philly here and stuff, but from San Francisco's standpoint, how does that change things for you?
I think for me, I think San Francisco is still the most complete team out there.
hmm
Defensively, they have all the tools. They have all the players. They have the playmakers. Um, on offense, I mean, look at what they're doing. Like Debo, like I know that you are an anti Debo Samuel guy. I know that, but
Yeah.
like the when him and Trent Williams are both playing this season and they're healthy, they're undefeated.
Yeah, they're very
That's all you
good.
need to know.
Yeah, it just
Yeah,
I don't know. For me, I feel like some games he just disappears in, and
sure.
with that, like I mean, they've got so many weapons on offense that unfortunately he doesn't need to be there every week. But I guess defenses have to respect him, and it's not that
Yeah,
I'm really anti. I don't like all the talk and all of that, and then showing up and not playing well. I don't like that at
right.
all. I just, if you're going to talk and gripe about money and all the stuff that he did last year, show up and play. Put your
Yeah,
money where your mouth is, like, or put your mouth where your money is. You got paid, bro. I mean, uh, anyhow.
yeah.
Um,
But overall though, 49ers, man, like
yeah, it
it's
looks like
that's a complete team.
yeah, they really are. I'll tell you. Well,
And
I know we had mentioned before that about Philly and stuff because we're going to talk about Philly and Dallas here. But did you want to mention one thing before we dive in on that?
yeah, if San Francisco, like the cards are gonna if the cards can break right for them at this point, and they can get that one seed, that's gonna be huge for them.
hmm
That is
Well,
going to be huge.
it could happen, right? Because Philly's got a loaded schedule. I think they play Dallas this week, then they go at Seattle. Seattle's been getting their butt kicked by teams. They are ready to lay a beat down on someone that's been getting beat down. So
Yeah,
I mean, they need a win big time. I mean, they played Dallas toe to toe on Thanksgiving. This is going to be a very good indication. Seattle clearly is almost just as good as Dallas, right? So
yeah,
you know, for Philly to have to go San Francisco, Dallas, then Seattle, man, that's a gauntlet. And San Francisco could just be there on the other side. They don't play anybody. I think they play the Giants. What? Giants once?
San Francisco, the rest of the way, their schedule isn't. They still have a couple weird tests left, and there's a game coming up in a couple of weeks with them where they play Baltimore,
Yeah, I
which
remember
I'm
that. Yep.
really interested to see. Like,
Yeah, just
so
because Baltimore smoked Seattle and Detroit. And I'm really curious if Baltimore's really that good or they haven't played anyone that's real good yet. It's because
yeah,
we thought the AFC
all,
was going to be that team, the AFC was going to have all these loaded teams. Turns out the AFC hasn't been loaded. But I don't know. As we get into these colder months, teams that make me actually think they could do something. And I realize like the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, that's kind of cooled for a little bit and stuff. But teams like Denver are scary good come the postseason, man. They run the
especially
ball well.
defensively.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they run the ball well. They play
Yep.
very good defense. Russ seems to be doing just what he needs to do.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, they lost that game to Houston, but their teams that play good defense are very scary to be up against.
Yep.
So, all right, well let's dive into Philly at Dallas here. Dallas, they're obviously getting 3.5 at home. They've won what, like 16, 17 straight games at home. It's been like they're ridiculous, man. They're very, very good. Maybe it's not
Yeah.
17 straight, but I think they're like 16-1 in their last 17 games. They just don't lose at
Yeah.
home.
It's something insane.
Yeah, the over under on this is 52 and a half. Some of the injuries we've got, obviously Goddard, he's been on the injury report almost every week for the last 8 weeks here. Swift, he's questionable as well. But this game for me just takes on new meaning with Philly losing. Philly wins that game against San Francisco. I'm not even worried. They can lose this game and it doesn't matter. But them losing to San Francisco, oh, well, now if Dallas wins this game, they'll be tied with Philly in the division, and they will have split those games. So for
Yeah.
me, it's just I don't know. First of all, Philly's a scary wild card team. Even if I feel like I just cursed by saying that, but
Well, also Philly. Quick weird sighting that we're not talking about. Philly signed Shaq Leonard.
yeah, I wanted to mention that before. I lost sight of it and stuff, but yeah, I don't know how good that is. And you've seen guys that like all of a sudden they just fall off a cliff and then it's teams get rid of
Yeah.
them. But I have to believe him coming in there is they need help at linebacker. I think he's going to help them
They
out
need
there.
something.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
it's a big weakness for them, and Howie just knows how to be able to do that, right? Like he's like, oh yeah,
Why
we'll
why the
bring
Colts
this
get
in.
rid of him?
I think he complained a little bit. Complained a little bit,
That's a
and
dude that can help them get to the playoffs, and that's
yeah.
I don't know. That's
So
weird.
Franklin's playing much better than him. And
True.
they brought him in on third downs. They were bringing him in on third downs, and then all of a sudden they weren't bringing him in on any downs anymore, and he was kind of pissed about
Yeah.
that. But one other, while we're on this, I just want to mention one other guy, Zach Ertz. Was I say conditionally, but agreed to be released from Arizona. He's supposedly
Yeah.
healthy because they're moving in the direction of Trey McBride. I would not be surprised if you saw a reunion with Ertz coming back. I,
Yeah. And
I
they need all the playmakers they can get.
I wouldn't be shocked if he did. I mean, Goddard's banged up. I'm not saying that you just come in and he replaces him, but depth is an important thing. Don't forget this team's got Julio Jones on there too. Like they've added a lot of guys that are veteran guys on this team. I don't know. They got a lot to do, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like the playoffs are going to be going through Philly. They still are right now, but I don't have a good feeling about them staying there. I feel like it's going to be going out west.
And this game is all set up perfectly for Dallas. They have everyone healthy.
Yep.
They have zero excuses on why they shouldn't win this game. But I know we talked about this before we started recording. I don't respectfully, I don't trust Dallas to win a big game.
Yeah.
I will say that Seattle game showed me a lot with them
Yeah.
because they could have rolled over in that game and they chose not to, and that was a big fucking win for them.
Dude, just look at what Dallas has done the last month. And I know, listen, the world hates Dallas because the world watches ESPN and they listen to Stephen A. trash on him all the time and Dak and Dallas and all of this stuff. But they've played the best month of football out of any team in the NFL the last 4 weeks. Dak in particular has played
Yeah.
much better than any quarterback the last 4 weeks. I look at what he's done. I mean, he's having his best season outside of that broken ankle season. Right? Like he was the far
Yeah.
and away MVP when he broke his ankle. I think it was like week 6, week 7 against the Giants that year. He is
Mhm.
playing very, very well. And this is the thing their offense is clicking, and he's not turning the ball over. The big crux for him for years and people's big gripe with him has been, dude, this guy turns the ball over too much. He throws too many dumb picks.
Loves, yeah, loves throwing that back-breaking interception at the absolute
Yeah,
worst time.
he
He
hasn't
sure
done
does.
that this year. And like
I know.
outside of the game with Arizona, I don't know. Which I don't know. That was Dobbs' magic. I just they Dallas needed to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
humbled, and like Dobbs was like, "Hey, this is my job. I'm here to do that." So I don't know. I just look at this like the defense obviously needs to get better, right? They haven't been playing as well recently, but Deron Bland, I'm not talking to you. Is this guy for real? Dude, he's got
Yeah.
8 picks and 5 touchdowns this year. That's more touchdowns than elite offensive players in this league. It's
For a while that was more touchdowns than the Patriots had scored all season. That was a
dude,
stat for a while.
dude,
It
it's
was amazing.
crazy. And this is
Amazing.
without Trayvon Diggs. He was the guy
Yeah.
getting all the picks last year. Can you imagine when they're
Yeah.
both going to be there? I
Well,
don't.
I will say this: their last four games,
Yep.
Seattle being the only team out of those four, they played the Giants, they played Carolina,
Uh huh.
they played Washington, Seattle.
Yep. Not
So
great teams. I get that.
no, Seattle is a decent team, but
Hmm.
the last four games they've put up 49 points, 33 points, 45 points, and 41 points.
Yeah.
Like they're cooking.
They
They're
they
cooking.
they really
I
are.
Yeah.
And I mean, no matter
I just don't trust it.
yeah, no matter how and I respect that because like they've shown time and time again that when it does push come to shove, it's not about the regular season. Uh, and I know this from being a Colts fan, right? It doesn't matter what you do in the regular season, and Braves fan. Now,
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you do in the regular season. It matters what you do in the postseason. So they
Yeah.
can play great here, but the minute they draw a team like I don't know Minnesota, someone like that, now likely, I mean Dallas is going to if they win this game, they've got a chance to host a playoff game. However,
Mm.
if they don't, they're going on the road somewhere. And I don't know. I don't trust that, man. Like that does not feel good for this Dallas team. I don't know. I look at this and there's no way we can escape talking about it. And this bugs me about football, but it's always a storyline. It always was Brady versus Manning. And it bugged me because they never play against each other. It's always
No.
Brady against the Colts defense or the Denver defense and Manning against a juggernaut of a New England defense, right? Like
Yep.
all the time. But we can't escape it because we're looking at the stats and stuff. Dak and Jalen compared side by side. Dak's Dak does have the better passing numbers, but Jalen's got the 12 rushing touchdowns, man. He's basically a running back one on an NFL team. It's crazy.
Yeah, I actually it had been a minute since I looked at Dak Prescott stats, and I just pulled them up because it's like, has he really had that good of a season? And
Dude,
he
six
really
picks.
fucking
Yeah,
has.
dude, he's a stud this year. He's been, and this is the craziest part. This is whenever we talk about Dallas, because Dallas is one of those teams, and John knows this, right? John loves Dallas. I got a bunch of boys that do. Nick, Adriano, a bunch of guys that like Dallas. But
And they're all wrong. They're
yeah,
all wrong.
this is the
Record.
thing. So every year, Dallas is the one team that no matter what they've done in the offseason, as soon as the offseason starts, day after the Super Bowl, they've got Super Bowl aspirations for the next year. It's the only
Yeah.
team. Dude, it's been 25 years of me hearing this. 25. It never changes. Dallas
Yeah.
is that one team no matter what, and they'll finish the season 8-8 and they'll still the next year. Yep, we're going to win a Super Bowl this year. It
They're
just
it's always we're one piece away from a Super
one
Bowl. And you're
piece
like,
away.
no, you're not.
And a
Yeah.
few times they were, man. Remember when they had
Yeah.
DeMarco Murray who was dude, he was running like an animal that year. I thought for sure they
Yeah.
had the best line in football and no, it just didn't work out. And I was actually kind of heartbroken for Tony Romo cuz remember they had that one they went to kick the field goal. They were playing Seattle, I think. And
It was the extra point, and
yeah,
he
was
botched
it
the
extra
snap.
point? Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
against Seattle. Yeah.
dude, heartbreaking.
And the last couple
Heartbreaking.
of years, just losing to San Francisco in the playoffs every year, like
Yeah.
on the final play, like that's I if they're gonna really actually win me over, they have to win this game.
Yeah. Yep.
Because when we make our picks, I am not picking them to win
Yeah.
because I've seen this movie time and time and time again with
Hmm.
them. And honestly, Philly is going to come into that game hungry because they just got the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah, yeah,
They got humiliated at home.
It's almost that wounded dog, and the other dogs are coming for them, and they know that they
Yeah.
have to fight twice as hard now because those dogs smell weakness. So
Yeah, Philly's backed into a corner right now.
yeah,
It's not good.
they really are. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention at least the receivers that are we're getting matchups here. And listen, it's nothing against Devonta Smith. He's an excellent receiver, but I look at the two big receivers that we have in this game with AJ Brown and CeeDee Lamb. They are two of the most
Ooh.
exciting guys in the league to watch. They really
Yeah.
are. For me, and okay, Tyreek Hill, Jefferson, Chase, I love those guys. Cooper Cup as well, but oh man, Amon Ra, Keenan Allen. I feel like I'm pissing people off by not mentioning them, but these guys are awesome to watch. AJ Brown is a stud. CeeDee
Yeah.
Lamb, he seems like he's not that big and can't make that many good catches, but every time I say that, he's making a one-handed catch across the middle that it seems freakish. He draws one in on the sideline that I'm like, there's no way his feet were in, and I'm like, oh God, how did he drag his feet on that? They're both incredible receivers
Insane.
and so important to their team. I just I can't wait to watch them and see how they're utilized against each other in this because I think the matchup of AJ Brown against Bland, or do they put Gilmore on him? I don't know. Maybe they
Yeah.
play Bland on Smith. I don't know. And then with CeeDee Lamb, Slay, I think he's gonna smash Slay, but that's me. So
I the matchup I'm actually the matchup I'm excited to see is like, can Micah Parsons make Jalen Hurts' life a living hell?
yeah,
Because that's what it's going to have to take.
yeah,
Because there is a recipe to beat Philadelphia, and San Francisco showed it to you.
yeah. They're gonna
You
have to make
have to
him
make sure you make sure he doesn't have time in the pocket.
look at the games, man. That's happened to him where they've struggled. The Jets game and in San Francisco, they got tons of pressure on him. They made him uncomfortable. It's a recipe for winning against them. So, let me ask you, man, who do you got winning this game?
I said it before. I don't like. This is the thing. This is lined up perfectly for Dallas.
Hmm.
They have everyone healthy. This lines up perfectly for them. They get Philly at home, but I have Philly winning this game 33-30.
I'm gonna go with Dallas just because I they're so good at home, man. They are so good. I have
Yeah.
them winning 31-27. Thirty-one
Yeah, I
twenty-seven
think
is
there's
what
going to
I
be a
think
lot
happens.
of score in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting. So I'm very excited for it. I cannot wait to see what ends up happening. But
Have you,
anyhow,
real quick with Dallas, have you looked at their schedule the rest of the way? It is a fucking gauntlet.
yeah,
They play Philly, they play Buffalo, Miami, Detroit, and Washington.
yeah. Yeah,
That's
and Washington,
insane.
is just going to be begging to take a team because, from rumor has it, they're not bringing Rivera back, and it looks like Bieniemy is not going to be there either. Like, they're talking about a completely new coaching staff, so which is really
Which is
unfortunate.
wild
Yeah,
because you gave him all that money
yeah,
to be the assistant head coach, and I have always assumed that he was going to take over.
yeah, dude.
But
I
that's
feel bad for
insane.
him because like I think he actually does deserve a head coaching position somewhere. I think he's that good of a
Yeah.
coordinator, and it just I don't know. Maybe he goes back to maybe he goes back to Kansas City. I don't
Yeah, if
know.
it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, why not? So, anyhow,
Yeah.
let's change gears real quick. MLB free agency. What Al Schefter. What do you
Yeah.
you got
So
your ear to the ground on some stuff?
my boy Shane texted me last night.
Yep.
He lives out in Syracuse, near and dear friend of mine, big San Francisco Giants fan. Shohei Otani, and this is how deep in the weeds we're getting. Shohei Otani started following Logan Webb on Instagram. Logan Webb plays for the San Francisco Giants. Is he going to go to the
Ooh.
Giants? Who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows? But
I've heard
yeah,
all
it's
sorts of weird rumors about that. Maybe him returning to Anaheim. They don't want to rule that out. Like it's been but there's nothing definitive. It's all like, oh, we kind of heard a little bit of this, maybe a little bit of that, and it's kind of funny for that.
also in weird stuff. Well, not even weird stuff, but like cool stuff to look at. So winter meetings are currently going on.
Hmm.
And it was announced by the Dodgers that Mookie Betts is going to play second base full time
I
next season,
saw that, and
which
that's
is
actually his preference, right?
insane. Yeah,
Yeah.
he would, which is insane.
Hmm.
Like to be able to be like, you know what, I can play center field and second base, two of the hardest positions to play in baseball. It's just nuts,
Yeah.
just absolutely nuts. So,
Good for him, man.
um,
Mhm.
also there's some talks. There's some scuttlebutt like that Bregman might be traded, and the Astros are like shutting that down. But like, I don't know, just something to just keep in the back of your brain.
Okay.
You know, I hate Alex Bregman because I think he's a prick. But like, you know, that's neither here nor there.
That's all right. Listen, Alex, if you're
Yeah,
following, we still appreciate your follow on this. So,
yeah,
so,
yeah. Just
uh,
know that I don't love you. That's
yeah,
all.
yeah, it's nothing personal. Just don't love you. So,
Yeah.
now in terms of Major League Baseball free agency, Jesus. Yeah. Listen, that's I guess one of the perks of it being nighttime here, right? It's almost time to go to bed. So, uh anyhow, in terms of trivia, that's what we were trying to get to there. Brain wasn't working. But trivia,
Oh, also your Braves. Your Braves had a big trade
yeah,
too.
yeah, I wasn't sure what to make
Their
of
kid
that, so
Kelnick, that's a big deal.
I I
That's a
wasn't
really good bat.
I wasn't sure what to make of that, and they had so many good bats on that team, on that roster, that I was just like, do they really need more of that? Like, I really wanted to see them go after a good starting pitcher or some
Yeah,
relief help, right? To be able to shore
yeah.
that up. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
Also, your dad's going to be, I'm sure, excited if he hasn't
Yeah,
talked to you already.
I saw
Jim
that.
Leland making the Hall of Fame.
Really? Well, I saw
Yeah,
the Tigers
yeah.
ended up signing a pitcher too. Was it Maeda?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how good that's going to be, but yeah, I'll definitely give a shout out to Coach Myro on that for Jim Leland. I know he
Yeah.
he was a
Big
fan of
Ray.
him. Yeah, he's. I'll tell you,
Yeah.
Leland's got some funny sound bites. He's
The last guy to openly rip cigarettes in the dugout while coaching. It's incredible. It's
yeah.
incredible.
Uh,
Oh,
well, let's jump into the trivia question real quick. I know last week we had who was the first baseball player to get a $200 million contract, and drum roll,
Alex Rodriguez from the Texas Rangers
it was. And then
got that $252 million contract.
you had mentioned someone who got the three, was it
That was
100,
Alex Rodriguez as well for the first $300 million contract in '07 from the Yankees.
maybe it was
Yeah.
100. We were talking about, was it Brown, you said?
Oh, yeah. Kevin Brown got the first $100 million contract from the
Yeah.
Padres.
Yeah.
Yeah, '98. Yeah.
Very interesting. And then for just clarity and context, you had mentioned about Nolan Ryan,
Yeah, first guy to earn a multi-million-dollar contract.
which is
Like getting paid a
crazy.
$1 million a year for multiple years.
That's
Yeah.
insane how times have
Yeah.
changed. So, oh man. So what do we got for the kids next week?
We'll make this kind of an easy toss-up one. Which player in Major League Baseball history has won the most World Series as a player?
Ooh.
I'll give you a hint. It's Ted, and he played for the Yankees, which could be any number of players. But
Ooh.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. I think I might actually
yeah.
know that one, but it could be tough.
Ooh,
So, yeah, I know, which
yeah,
is kind
yeah,
of impressive. So, but I'll answer it off stream for you so that way we can get
sure.
it. But listen, anything else you wanted to cover before we wrap up here?
Nah, man. It was another great episode as always. And Willie, I love you. And everyone out there, stay safe. I know it's the holidays. And yeah, just you know, in the holidays, real quick. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do in the holidays.
Right.
You want to just hang out? Just fucking hang out, man.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
you don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
just do your thing. Do you for the
Yeah,
holidays. So, listen, I
yeah.
love you too, bro.
You want to wear no pants on your couch? Don't wear any pants.
Listen,
Fuck it.
yeah, you can do whatever you
Yeah.
want. So, listen, I
I'm not
really
wearing pants right now. So
yeah, listen, we're gonna see the subs go up now. So
yeah,
we
I'm Winnie the
really
Poohing it.
Well, listen, Al, I love you too, bro. Very happy. We're closing in on 30 episodes here, which is kind of cool. So,
Yeah.
very excited for that. But I know we will be back later this week or next week. We're not sure. We're gonna talk about it and,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and decide. But listen, you guys know where to find us at this point. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, drop us a comment, answer the trivia question, and stay safe for the holidays, guys. Definitely do that.
Yeah.
All right. You take
All
care,
right. I
Al.
love you. Peace.
Peace.